Ambassador Hannah Park stood rigid as the Galactic Council chamber fell silent. 24 alien representatives watched from their floating platforms as the voting results materialized on the central hologram. The petition for human admission to the Galactic Council has been denied by a vote of 22-2, announced High Chancellor Drock, his scaled face betraying no emotion. Hannah couldn't believe it. After years of diplomatic efforts, technological exchanges, and cultural goodwill missions, humanity had been rejected. Again. Furthermore, Drock continued, the Council has determined that Earth represents a potential destabilizing force in our galactic community. Effective immediately, all human vessels are restricted to your solar system, and Council oversight of technological development will be implemented. On what grounds? Hannah demanded, her voice echoing in the chamber. Humanity has adhered to every guideline, every regulation. Your species' history of violence makes you unsuitable for full integration, interrupted Council Secretary Movie. The decision is final. As security drones moved toward her, Hannah activated her emergency communicator. Her last message to Earth was brief. Betrayal. Coming home not possible. Prepare. The drones surrounded her, their metallic arms extending to escort her from the chamber. Hannah held her head high as she was led away. The other representatives avoided her gaze, except for the delegates from Proxima and Tau Ceti, the only two who had voted in humanity's favor. In the hallway outside the chamber, Hannah was met by her aide, Jun, whose face paled when he saw her expression. They rejected us, she said simply, and now they're making moves against Earth. Jun's hand moved to the concealed weapon at his side, but Hannah shook her head. Not here. We need to get to our ship. Their path to the docking bay was blocked by a group of Council security forces. The lead officer, a tall blue-skinned being, stepped forward. Ambassador Park, by order of the Galactic Council, you and your staff are to be detained for processing before return to your system. Hannah narrowed her eyes. Processing. That wasn't mentioned in the chamber. Standard procedure for representatives of non-member species facing restrictions, the officer replied, not meeting her gaze. Jun leaned close to whisper, they're lying. The Centauri delegation was rejected last cycle, and they departed immediately. Hannah nodded slightly. Something was very wrong. The Council's decision was unexpected, but this detention was completely outside normal protocols. I demand to speak with my government before any processing, Hannah stated firmly. The security officer shifted uncomfortably. Communications privileges have been temporarily suspended for your delegation. This confirmed Hannah's growing suspicion. This wasn't just a rejection. It was the beginning of something much worse. As they were escorted to a detention area, Hannah noticed increased military activity throughout the station. Council battleships were preparing to depart, and the normal civilian traffic had been cleared from nearby sectors. In the small, sterile room where they were held, Jun managed to access a maintenance terminal while the guards were distracted. What he found chilled them both. Fleet movements, he whispered. Massive Council forces mobilizing toward our system. This isn't just about membership. They're planning something against Earth. Hannah's mind raced. Why would the Council suddenly turn hostile? Humanity had been careful to present only their civilian technologies, hiding their military capabilities as a precaution. What had changed? The junior diplomat from her team, Jay, slipped into the room. I overheard 2 Rigelian officers talking, he said quietly. It's about stellarite. Our system has massive deposits, and the Council leaders want control. Suddenly, the pieces fell into place. The rejection, the detention, the fleet movements, all a cover for a resource grab. We need to warn Earth, Hannah said. The emergency message I sent was too brief. Jun looked up from the terminal. I can access a subspace channel, but it will alert security. Do it, Hannah ordered. We need to activate Protocol Aegis. Jun's fingers flew over the interface. Channel open, but it won't last long. Hannah leaned close to the terminal. Earth Command, this is Ambassador Park. The Council rejection was a pretext. They've discovered our stellarite deposits and are mobilizing an extraction fleet. Expect hostile forces within days. Activate Protocol Aegis. They don't know about our real defenses. The connection cut off as alarms began to sound. Security forces would arrive within minutes. They'll separate us for questioning, Hannah told her team. Remember your training. Say nothing about our military capabilities. As footsteps approached their door, Hannah felt a strange calm. The Council thought they were dealing with a primitive species they could easily overwhelm. They had no idea what humanity was truly capable of. The door slid open, revealing armed guards. Time to find out what the Council really wants, Hannah murmured as they were led away, already planning her escape. Earth needed to be ready when the Council forces arrived, expecting an easy victory, but finding something very different instead. Retrief General Ta Kim studied the intelligence briefing with growing anger. Beside him, Admiral Ji Lee and Science Director Su Yun exchanged concerned glances. They never intended to admit us, Ta said finally. Our probes have confirmed it. Earth's solar system contains the largest known deposits of stellarite in the quadrant. Stellarite? Asked President Da Kang. Su brought up a display showing a crystalline blue mineral, the most efficient energy conductor in known space. 1 kilogram could power a major city for a year. Our system apparently has it in abundance. The quarantine isn't about our violent tendencies, Ji added. It's about resource control. Council mining vessels are already mobilizing. The President's expression hardened, and they expect us to submit. They expect primitive humans with limited space capabilities. Ta smiled grimly. Fortunately, Operation Shadow Shield was designed for exactly this scenario. Screens around the room illuminated, showing hidden shipyards throughout the solar system, where humanity's true fleet waited. The underground command center hummed with activity as officers and analysts moved with renewed purpose. Hannah's emergency message had reached Earth just 6 hours ago, and the global defense network was now fully activated. General Ta walked to the central holographic display and expanded the view of the solar system. Red dots marked the approaching Council vessels, over 200 ships entering from multiple vectors. They're splitting into 3 battle groups, Admiral Joy observed. One heading toward the asteroid belt, one toward Jupiter's moons, and one directly to Earth. President Day stood and addressed the assembled military leadership. How long before they reach our defensive perimeter? 36 hours at their current speed, Tay replied. They're being cautious, probably to avoid alarming us until it's too late. The President turned to the communications officer. Any word from Ambassador Park? Nothing since the initial warning, sir. We believe her delegation is being held on the Council station. Science Director Su manipulated the display to show the locations of Earth's hidden fleet. Blue markers appeared throughout the solar system, ships concealed in asteroid hollows, beneath the ice of distant moons, and in orbital facilities disguised as research stations. 342 vessels, fully armed and crewed, she reported. The Council knows about our public space force, 40 outdated cruisers and support ships. They have no knowledge of our actual military capability. A lieutenant rushed into the room, handing Ty a datapad. Sir, we've decrypted more Council communications. They're discussing labor camps for humans and systematic extraction of stellarite from all major planetary bodies. The room fell silent as this information sank in. These weren't just invaders. They planned to enslave humanity while stripping the solar system bare. Show me the Hammer of Dawn, the President ordered quietly. Ty nodded to Su, who brought up images of a massive warship hidden in a crater on the far side of the moon. The vessel's sleek, dark hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it. At over 2 kilometers in length, it dwarfed anything in the Council's approaching fleet. Our flagship is ready, Admiral J confirmed. Built using advanced technologies we've kept hidden from Council observers for the past decade. And the stellarite weapons? President Day asked. Sue displayed a schematic of a small, blue glowing device. The gravitational disruptors are installed on all major vessels. One shot can disable a council ship's propulsion system without destroying it. We can neutralize their fleet with minimal casualties. General Tagg turned to face the president directly. Sir, we've prepared for this possibility since first contact. The council believes they're facing a technologically inferior species with no chance of meaningful resistance. Their intelligence on us is based entirely on what we've allowed them to see. What about Ambassador Park and her team? The president asked. Extraction Team Alpha launched from Mars base 3 hours ago, Admiral G replied. They'll infiltrate the council station and retrieve our people before the main engagement begins. The president walked slowly around the display, studying the positions of the council forces. When he spoke again, his voice was firm but controlled. We offered friendship, trade, and peaceful cooperation. They responded with deception, and now they come as conquerors. He looked at each of the military leaders in turn. Activate Operation Shadow Shield. I want our fleet in position before the council forces realize what they're facing. General Tagg opened a secure channel to all hidden human military installations throughout the solar system. All units, this is General Kim. Operation Shadow Shield is now active. Repeat, Shadow Shield is active. Implement deployment sequence and maintain stealth protocols until engagement order. Across the solar system, hidden doors slid open in asteroids. Ice sheets on distant moons parted to reveal launching bays. Orbital stations transformed as weapons systems emerged from concealed compartments. Ta looked back at the display showing the approaching council fleet. They think they know what humanity is capable of, he said softly. They're about to learn how wrong they are. President Day nodded grimly. Let them come. We'll be ready. Commander Rack of the Council Extraction Fleet surveyed the blue-green planet through his view screens. Pitiful, he murmured. They haven't even attempted to challenge our blockade. His second, Officer Vent, approached with a data tablet. We've established mining operations on their outer planets. Preliminary scans show stellarite concentrations even higher than projected. Excellent. Send the humans their labor assignments. They can assist with extraction or face orbital sanctions. Far from Earth, beyond Neptune's orbit, Fleet Admiral Min Choi addressed the commanders of humanity's hidden armada. 300 ships of varying classes had gathered in the shadow of the ice giant. The council forces have divided as anticipated, she noted, highlighting tactical displays. They're spreading thin to maximize extraction efficiency. Captain Mu Park of the stealth cruiser Defiant reported, Ambassador Hannah escaped council custody during transit. She's reached our Europa outpost with critical intelligence on council fleet vulnerabilities. Min nodded. Perfect timing. Prepare all ships. Operation Reckoning begins in 6 hours. Commander Rack stretched his long gray limbs as he walked around the command deck of his flagship. The view of Earth filled the main screen. Such a beautiful world, soon to be transformed by the needs of the Galactic Council. Have the humans responded to our labor directives? He asked. Officer Vent checked his console. No, Commander. Their governments are still in emergency meetings. They've requested more time to consider our terms. Rack laughed, a harsh clicking sound. They're stalling. It makes no difference. Our forces are already in position. A junior officer approached nervously. Sir, our mining teams on Mars report unusual energy readings beneath the surface near Olympus Mons. Probably they're primitive power plants. Rack dismissed. Focus on the stellarite deposits. On his private screen, Rack reviewed the Council's intelligence reports on human military capabilities. Their space fleet consisted of 40 outdated vessels, mostly designed for transport rather than combat. Their weapons were primitive energy beams and chemical explosives. The humans had been careful to appear peaceful during all their interactions with the Council, never revealing any significant military technology. Such a waste, Rack muttered. With all this stellarite, they could have been a genuine power in the galaxy. Now it will serve better purposes. Hidden in the shadow of Neptune. Humanity's true fleet prepared for battle. The massive flagship Thunder led the formation, its kilometer-long hull bristling with weapons the Council had never seen. Inside the command center, Fleet Admiral Min Choi studied the tactical display. Council forces had spread across the solar system, exactly as predicted. Their main battle group remains near Earth, she noted, but they've sent smaller extraction teams to every major planetary body. They're dividing their forces to begin mining operations immediately. Captain Wu stood beside her, freshly arrived from escorting Ambassador Hannah from Europa. The ambassador confirms that Council ships have a critical weakness in their shield configurations. Their engineers never solved the phase variance issue in their rear deflectors. Min smiled. That will make disabling rather than destroying them much easier. On a nearby screen, Ambassador Hannah was speaking with General Tai and President Dai via secure link. They were completely confident in their intelligence about us, Hannah explained. The Council truly believes we have no significant military capability. Their arrogance will be their downfall, President Dai replied. Admiral Min, you have authorization to commence Operation Reckoning. Min nodded and turned to her communications officer. Send the coded signal to all hidden bases. It's time to show the Council who they're really dealing with. Throughout the solar system, human forces prepared to emerge from hiding. On Mars, massive hangar doors concealed beneath the red soil began to open. In the rings of Saturn, ships disguised as mining equipment powered up their engines. Beneath the ice of Europa, Jupiter's moon, a full battle group prepared to launch. Back on the Council flagship, Commander Rack was dictating terms for Earth's surrender when alarms began blaring across his command deck. What is happening? He demanded. His sensor officer looked up in confusion. Sir, we're detecting energy signatures, hundreds of them, appearing throughout the system. Impossible. Rack hissed. Show me. The tactical display transformed as hundreds of blue dots appeared, representing human vessels of all sizes emerging from hiding places throughout the solar system. Sir, Officer Vent whispered, these readings suggest their technology is far more advanced than our intelligence indicated. On Neptune's dark side, Admiral Min gave the order. All ships, disengage stealth systems, and proceed to your assigned targets. Remember, disable rather than destroy when possible. We want prisoners, not martyrs. The massive human fleet broke formation, moving with precision toward the scattered Council forces. Leading the charge was Min's flagship Thunder, heading directly for Commander Rack's position near Earth. Min opened a channel to all human vessels. Today we defend not just our planet, but our entire system. The Council came expecting to find helpless prey. Instead, they'll discover that humanity has teeth. As Council sensors registered the approaching armada, Commander Rack's confident expression faded. For the first time, he felt something he hadn't experienced in many cycles of military service. Fear. Commander Rack was overseeing the installation of mining equipment on Ceres when alarms blared across his command deck. What's happening? He demanded. Massive energy signatures, sir, appearing throughout the system. The tactical display transformed as hundreds of human warships seemed to materialize from nowhere. Some rose from planetary surfaces, others deactivated advanced stealth systems, all converging on isolated Council vessels. Impossible, Rack whispered. Their technology is decades behind. His communications officer interrupted. Incoming transmission. System-wide. Admiral Min's voice filled every Council ship. This is the Earth Defense Fleet. Your forces are surrounded and outgunned. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. The Council ships found themselves facing advanced gravitational disruptors that rendered their engines useless and precision weapons that disabled rather than destroyed. Council commanders, expecting to find primitive resistance at best, watched in horror as their superior numbers became meaningless. Within 3 hours, 90% of the Council extraction fleet had surrendered. Commander Rack gripped the edge of his control panel as the tactical display showed his forces being systematically cut off and disabled. His mining team on Ceres stood frozen in shock as 5 human warships appeared directly above them, rising from what had appeared to be empty craters. "Send the alert to all remaining vessels. Full combat protocols," Rack shouted, but it was already too late. Across the asteroid belt, Council mining ships found themselves suddenly surrounded. Near Mars, a fleet of Council transports watched in horror as the red planet's surface split open, revealing massive launch bays from which human battleships emerged. Rack's second-in-command, Officer Vent, tried desperately to coordinate their scattered forces. Battle Group 3 is completely cut off near Jupiter. Battle Group 2 reports their engines have been disabled by some kind of gravitational weapon. On his screen, Rack watched as a Council cruiser fired on a human vessel. The human ship's shields absorbed the energy completely, then redirected it in a precise beam that sliced through the Council ship's weapon arrays without damaging its life support systems. "How?" Rack hissed. "How did they hide this level of technology from our observers?" His tactical officer looked up from his station, face pale. "They only showed us what they wanted us to see. All those research stations, civilian vessels, and diplomatic exchanges. They were a front." Rack's own flagship shuddered as something locked onto their hull. The lights flickered, and suddenly their engines went dead. "We've lost propulsion," reported the engineering officer. "Something is disrupting our drive field." Outside their viewports, a massive human ship materialized. Its hull was dark and sleek, absorbing rather than reflecting light from the distant sun. It was 3 times the size of Rack's flagship, and its weapon ports glowed with blue energy, the unmistakable signature of weaponized stellarate. "Receiving targeted transmission," said the communications officer. Admiral Min's face appeared on the main screen. Her expression was calm but stern. "Commander Rack, this is Admiral Min Choi of the Earth Defense Fleet. Your vessel is disabled. Your extraction forces throughout our system have been neutralized. Surrender your ship immediately." Rack drew himself up to his full height. "How dare you? You deceived the Council, pretending to be less advanced than you are. While you deceived us about your true intentions," Min interrupted smoothly. "Did you really believe we wouldn't prepare defenses after witnessing how the Council treats lesser species?" Across the system, the pattern repeated itself. Council ships found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned by human vessels that seemed to appear from nowhere. The gravitational disruptors, technology the Council had believed theoretical at best, rendered their most powerful ships helpless without killing their crews. On Europa, a Council mining team watched in shock as the ice beneath their equipment suddenly melted away, revealing a massive human base that had been there all along. Near Venus, Council science vessels that had been preparing to survey stellarite deposits found themselves surrounded by human fighters that had been hiding in the planet's thick cloud cover. Back on Rack's disabled flagship, Officer Vent approached with a grim expression. "Sir, we've lost contact with 90% of our fleet. Those still operating report they are surrounded and disabled." Rack slumped in his command chair. In his many years of military service, he had never faced such a complete defeat, and so quickly. "They could have destroyed us all," Vent said quietly. "Their weapons clearly have that capability. Yet they chose precision disabling attacks instead." A new message came through from Admiral Min. "Commander Rack, I am dispatching boarding teams to your vessel. Your crew will not be harmed if they offer no resistance. You yourself will be transported to Earth for discussions with our leaders." On her flagship, Admiral Min watched as human vessels secured their positions around the disabled Council ships. Captain Wu stood at her side, reviewing damage reports. "Minimal casualties on both sides," he reported. "The stellarite disruptors worked perfectly." Min nodded. "Inform President Da that Phase 1 is complete. The Council fleet has been neutralized." She looked at the tactical display showing the scattered, helpless Council vessels. "Now comes the harder part, showing the galaxy we're not the savages they believed us to be." Commander Rack stood humiliated on his own bridge as Admiral Min and Ambassador Hannah boarded his flagship. This violation of council authority will not stand, he threatened weakly. Hannah smiled. Actually, we're broadcasting this meeting to every council homeworld now. Your people should know what their leaders have done. She activated a hologram showing intercepted communications between key council members discussing how to divide Earth's resources among themselves without informing the wider council. Your leaders lie to you. Admiral Min addressed the watching billions across 24 worlds. They claimed humans were dangerous savages while planning to strip our home of resources. Hannah continued, Earth does not seek war. We offer these terms: recognition of human sovereignty, reparations for this unprovoked aggression, and removal of corrupt council officials. Additionally, Min added, we announce the formation of the Solar Alliance, an interstellar coalition founded on genuine equality. Several council species have already expressed interest in joining. As if on cue, ships bearing the insignia of the two council races that had supported Earth's membership appeared from hyperspace, taking position alongside the human fleet. Commander Rack realized with sinking certainty that the galaxy had changed forever. The humans hadn't just defeated a council fleet, they had shattered the power structure that had stood for millennia. As Hannah and Min departed his ship, leaving him to contemplate his role in this historic mistake, Rack heard Ambassador Hannah's final words. Next time you consider betraying humanity, remember this day, and what awaits those who mistake our patience for weakness. The lights on the bridge dimmed as the human delegation left. Commander Rack could feel the eyes of his crew on him, a mixture of fear and blame in their gazes. The broadcast was still active, showing the scene to billions across the galaxy. Outside the viewport, human ships surrounded his disabled flagship. Their sleek designs and advanced technology stood as proof of humanity's hidden strength. Rack had never felt so foolish or so defeated. On the main screen, scenes from across the solar system showed council mining ships being escorted away from their operations. The humans were methodical and disciplined, treating their prisoners with a respect Rack knew his own forces would not have shown. Officer Vent approached cautiously. Sir, we're receiving transmissions from the council. The High Chancellor is demanding explanations. Rack laughed bitterly. Let him explain to the galaxy why he lied about the Stellarite operation. Let him explain why 24 species now know their leaders plan to enslave humans for profit. On Earth, President Da and General Ta watched the broadcasts from the command center. The screens showed reactions pouring in from across the galaxy. Many council species were demanding investigations into their own leaders. It worked better than we hoped, General Ta said. The corruption within the council was even deeper than our intelligence suggested. President Da nodded. And now the galaxy sees both our strength and our restraint. We could have destroyed them all, but chose not to. In orbit above Earth, Admiral Min's flagship Thunder docked with ships from Proxima and Ta Ceti, the two council races that had voted for human membership. Their leaders came aboard to sign the first treaties of the new Solar Alliance. Ambassador Hannah, now reunited with her staff, greeted the alien dignitaries. Today marks a new beginning for all our peoples, she said as they gathered around the treaty table. Not based on deception or exploitation, but on genuine cooperation. The Proximan ambassador, tall and slender with iridescent skin, bowed deeply. We always recognized humanity's potential. That is why we voted for your membership, even knowing the Council's true plans. Many more will join us now, added the Ta Ceti representative, their crystalline voice resonating in the chamber. The Council's structure has been corrupt for centuries. Your actions have finally exposed the truth. Back on the disabled Council flagship, Commander Rack received new orders directly from his homeworld. His government was distancing itself from the High Chancellor, claiming they had been misled about the mission's true purpose. You are to surrender formally to the humans, the message stated, and provide all information about the Council's deliberations regarding Earth and its resources. Rack closed his eyes in resignation. His career was over, but perhaps cooperation might save his people from human retribution. As human security teams took control of his ship, Rack watched the tactical displays showing council vessels throughout the system being escorted away. Not a single human ship had been lost in the brief conflict. In the following days, 7 more council species announced their intention to join the Solar Alliance. Diplomatic vessels arrived from across the galaxy, each eager to establish relations with the humans who had so thoroughly outmaneuvered the mighty Galactic Council. 1 month later, Ambassador Hannah stood before the inaugural meeting of the Solar Alliance on Earth. Representatives from 9 alien species joined human delegates in the new chamber built specifically for this historic gathering. From attempted conquest came unexpected unity. Hannah began. From betrayal came a chance to build something better than what came before. Outside the windows of the Alliance chamber, ships from all member species flew in formation above the blue waters of Earth. And far beyond, at the edges of the solar system, advanced human sentinels kept watch, ensuring that never again would anyone mistake humanity's patience for weakness. The end.